Ironically, the thing that has worked the most on TikTok and Instagram, and this is not making money or anything, this is just what has got us the most followers and what has like got us the most engagement, was making fun of healthcare.
Yeah.
We'd make videos of just, because healthcare right now is so, it can be very obnoxious right now.
It's a commodity.
Oh, it's so stupid right now. I mean, cold plunge, sauna, grounding.
I do grounding.
You do grounding?
I do.
You just go stand outside barefoot?
No. I have a grounding blanket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I sleep with it all
You
night.
lay it? Oh, okay.
I do.
I thought grounding was like where you just go step outside barefoot.
You can. It works, dude.
Does it?
Yeah.
This is the Mostly Middle Tennessee Business Podcast, a podcast about Middle Tennessee business owners and professionals.
Yes.
Mostly.
So I got to ask you, what are the highest and lowest points of your life so far? Bring that mic up to you. We want to be able to hear what you're saying, right? Get right on that thing.
Is it too close? Right
More,
here?
closer.
More?
Yeah, bring it to you. Relax, kick back. Probably should have done this before we started, but this is how we do.
How's that?
There you go. Very impromptu.
Oh, wow.
You're nice and comfy?
Yeah, nice and comfy.
Highest and lowest points of your life?
Like ever?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Whoa. Let's see. Highest point, we'll start positive. Highest point of my life would be would be when I bought my house in Nashville.
Really?
Yeah. Because I grew up pretty poor.
Right.
And so, which of course, I graduated physical therapy school and tons of debt. And I'm living in Nashville, actually in one of the cheapest apartments I could find. I got hit by the tornado in, was it 2020?
2020.
Yeah.
2020.
So, after that, my parents were like, go find an apartment, and live there. So because it was up to me and I'm like the cheapest human on this entire planet, I found the cheapest apartment that I could find.
Well, at that time, that was easy.
Oh, yeah, super easy, but it was infested with roaches. And I did not know that.
Well, Alex, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how that works.
So after that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be an adult. And so when I bought my house, it was just one of those things that it just felt surreal because I was 26, 27 at the time.
So I would guess that your low point must have been all the debt from physical therapy school.
Low point. Yeah, that's one of them.
I was thinking like, hey, I got engaged to my fiance would be a high point.
Oh, yeah, I guess I got to say that, Dave. I have never been the type of person that put that kind, like I've always been work focused. Mm-hmm. So obviously getting engaged was one of the highest points of my life, but I still to this day think like, am I actually really engaged or is this still a joke? Is this a joke?
How long you been engaged?
I've been engaged since April 5th. So
recent.
Yeah, very
really?
recently. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Very, very recently. I had to lock him down. Were you shocked?
Were you surprised?
We had talked about it. So we met very romantically, which was online dating.
That's good. That's great.
Yeah. I don't go to bars. I don't go places. So I already knew I was like, unless someone breaks into my house, I'm going to have to meet them online. But the night we met, we hit it off. I don't think either one of us was really expecting it to, where I think both of us were just kind of giving it the last shot and then going to delete the app again and then re-download it a few months later.
Yeah.
But, we hit it off and pretty much, like he started making plans a little earlier than I would have.
How old is he?
He's 34.
Probably why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I knew it was coming. I did not know it was going to come that day.
When did you actually meet? I'm just curious about these stories.
No, we dated about a year.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we were going to Hawaii, and so I thought he was going to do it in Hawaii, and he did it. We had just bought land, and he did it out on the land with our parents there. So I was shocked. I actually thought we were in a fight that day.
So you have land as well.
We have land. Mm-hmm.
Around here?
Chapel Hill.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So we are in the process of doing a construction loan right now, and that is going to be the death of me. But if I make it through that, then we're going to build.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, awesome. So those of you tuning in, this is Alex Phillips.
With Amplify Health and Performance.
That's right. And you're a relatively new B&I-er.
I am.
And you came into our chapter, I would say a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you did your presentation. And I always pay attention to presentations because we as a company, it'syourshow.co, have something called the Presentation Supercharge, where we help people with their B&I presentations. But yours was really spot on. I mean, you showcased obviously what you do, a little bit of a call to action, but most notably, which is tough to do in our little commercials that we do, your personality. I mean, dude, you put it on like charisma, you got humor. I mean, you should really try your hand at stand-up comedy. You had that room laughing.
Yeah, I enjoy public speaking.
Yeah.
I've whenever I was younger, I hated it. Who grows up enjoying public speaking? Everyone's staring at you all the time.
I never had a problem with it.
Really?
Yeah.
When I grew up, I hated it. And then as soon as I went to UT Knoxville for undergrad, and as soon as I realized that people were just going to laugh at my accent, regardless of what I said, I was like, okay, I could be funny.
So you have the accent, but it's not like you have a freaking constant rubber band in your mouth.
No, I know. I'm telling you, in Nashville, I mean, sometimes I'm like, am I the crazy? I'm from Tennessee.
Right.
And I feel so crazy talking.
Well, here's the thing. We moved here 20 years ago, just about to the month this year. And getting here, I worked for Mix 92.9 and Jack FM, which is what brought us here. And we had a mixture of people in the building that were really Southern or not.
Oh, really?
And as you kind of got to know people around Nashville, you didn't really hear the accent all that much. But as soon as you went into Murray County and south,
oh yeah,
that seemed to be the delineation of where the accent came in. And we never minded. I actually wanted it more because we grew up in Connecticut.
Oh yeah.
Bougie, we were middle class, but you think of Connecticut, you think of Muffy. Then we moved to Vegas.
Oh.
And Vegas opened our eyes to how uncivilized Connecticut was. And, after 4 years in Vegas, we kind of saw the same, people weren't as friendly after a while. So we were looking forward to the Southern hospitality, and again, in the building where I worked, you heard a lot of the Southern accent, but outside of the building, not too much.
How long did you live in Vegas?
4 years.
4 years.
01 to 05.
Man, I can't imagine that. Did
you
like it?
We were in our beginning of our marriage. We got married in 01. My wife and I, we were away from everything we've ever known. If we had a problem with each other, we had to deal with it. Just us. There was no running to parents or anything like that. It was, it was in a way it strengthened us. I would say. I mean, here we are 24 years later.
Yeah. Knock on wood.
And she's my best friend.
Yeah.
And that's the way to kind of look at it, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I could live in Vegas, but if you want to hear an accent, you go to West Tennessee.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah.
Or even Southern getting into Alabama and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you even go to Birmingham, Alabama, you'll hear it.
Yeah.
Not too much.
No, not really. Birmingham's pretty nice.
Yeah.
I think you just got to search for the small towns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the different ancillary markets that are starting to become very, like Columbia. Maybe I said this on the podcast before. In Connecticut, growing up, there was a town called New Milford, and New Milford was redneck, but they didn't have any Southern accents. It was like meth head kind of redneck,
Yeah.
And they called it New Mildew.
New Mildew.
Yes.
All right.
And that was the undesirable area as we grew up, and then it became very gentrified. They filmed Mr. Deeds with Adam Sandler in New Milford.
Oh.
So if you watch the movie and you see like the street where Deeds Pizza is, that was like, my wife and I actually had an apartment right around the corner from there while they were filming it. And the radio station I worked for we took our morning show on the road to a cafe on that street where they filmed most of those scenes and stayed on the air until Adam Sandler came on the show.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it happened.
Did you see him?
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
Got pictures to prove it.
Really?
Back when I was 180 pounds. And it was one of those cool things to kind of, a little bit of a memento after we moved to Vegas, because right around the time we moved to Vegas was when they were filming a lot of that stuff in that town. And then I want to say about 9 months later, it came out in the theaters, and living in Vegas.
Well, look at that.
Be able to see the movie that was right up the road from us. You know?
So what made you want to leave Vegas?
Radio.
You
know, I think we ended up going from Connecticut. I actually almost went to Long Island at a job opportunity at WBAB. But we figured, hey, Vegas will be fun.
Yeah.
You know, we've never been west of the Mississippi at that point, and it was a big adventure. And that's what we did. And 4 years later, after that, I knew I wanted to move back east. Vegas afforded us a lot of perspective because where we were in Connecticut, we didn't ever think we'd be able to own a house.
Yeah.
So Vegas, we were able to buy our first house.
Oh, that's nice.
And all that fun stuff. And then we, after 4 years, we wanted to move back east, but definitely not the Northeast.
Okay.
So I always felt a kinship with the South. We went to Charlotte when I was a kid, and I just remember really liking Charlotte.
Charlotte's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great city. So I looked at a lot of cities in North Carolina for radio and stuff like that. Memphis, I think, came up at a certain point. Atlanta, certainly, because that would have been a major market job for me. And then all of a sudden, Nashville popped up in the trades, and I was like, oh, I never even thought of Nashville.
Did you visit first, or were you just like, let's go?
It was the most ideal interview process I'd ever had in my time in radio.
Oh, really?
So they flew both my wife and I out, took us out to dinner. The general manager, Dennis Guazdon, still talk to him today. To this day, he's a great guy. He and his wife took me, Courtney and I out to dinner. And then that following Monday, went in there, interviewed, met all the staff and everything. And when it came down to talking about salary, we made it work, and they offered me the job. And I said, well, hey, I'll just submit my plane ticket for reimbursement. And he's like, well, how much did you pay for the both of you? And I said, this money, we'll just cover both of you.
Oh, geez.
And it was like one of those things. I'm like, dude, where I came from, that didn't happen. Yeah, you had to beg for freaking reimbursements, from old CBS Infinity Broadcasting. So yeah, it was ideal.
Huh, that's nice.
Yeah, we moved here, and we've been here ever since. Started a family, and still in the same house.
How many kids you got?
3. Yeah.
How old are they?
Soon to be 9. My daughter, oldest, is 18, soon to be 19 next month. My son is 17. My youngest daughter is 13.
Oh, close in age.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's nice.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Good little family unit.
Yeah, that's super nice.
So you grew up, you say West Tennessee, but that could be Paris, that could be Jackson, that could be Memphis.
I usually tell people Jackson because they know where that's at.
Yeah, halfway point.
Yeah, halfway point. I grew up in a place called Lexington, Tennessee, which is very, very small town. Would not trade my childhood for absolutely anything. I loved it. It was amazing. I think I mentioned this in the BNI, but my hometown truly does have 2 podcasts, and one is on barbecue. It's the best barbecue I've ever had. And if anyone argues that Memphis is better, they have not had this one.
Really?
Yeah, it's called Scott's Barbecue. Amazing. Oh. And then the second documentary is on meth. So
podcasts or document?
The second documentary.
So they had 2 documentaries.
2 documentaries
about the town.
About the town.
Not podcasts.
Does say podcast? My bad. No, they have 2 documentaries. It's barbecue and meth. I've never had the meth, but I've heard great things. So
heard great things about the meth?
Yeah, I've heard really good things. So, if things take a turn,
Is that kind of like Walter White, blue ice type meth? Or?
I haven't had it. I'll have to let you know. I have plenty of family that's tried it. So
5 stars would try again. Right.
Yeah, I know my neighbors have had it. So,
so I mean, but you're a 90s kid.
Oh yeah, I'm a 90s kid.
Yeah, and somewhat early millennium kid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a millennial.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
But your attitude is one of Gen X. I'll tell you that right now.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah. You got a mindset of Gen X. You drink out of the garden hose.
Oh, 100. That's why I don't get sick often.
That's right.
You got to build your immunity.
That's right. Swim in the Hudson River.
Exactly. No, I grew up. I mean, I grew up we worked during the summer. My grandpa, he had a farm, and he farmed for the whole county or a whole town that they lived in. Mm-hmm. Huge, and everyone knew him. He also joked a lot. I definitely got my humor from him. He was the most sarcastic human on this entire planet.
Yeah.
But I stayed with him every summer, and we would ride horses and we would farm. And so I grew up very, very different from millennial. But I would, like I said, I would not trade that for anything.
Yeah, that's a great upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
So getting into, finding your purpose and doing what you're doing now, what kind of, were you athletic?
Yeah. And I know I'm going to say this, and if any of my friends listen to it, they're going to be like, no, she wasn't. But I was. I just, I'm about as ADD as it gets. So I wish I could have stuck with something a little bit longer than one season and not have gotten bored. So I kind of did everything, and therefore, when you're good at everything, you're not really great at anything. But I've always been very active. So like I've done a bodybuilding competition.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never do it again. It was absolutely awful, and I don't ever want to be on a diet again if I can prevent that. But,
I did the Body for Life thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, Body for Life? What is that?
Body for Life was a book written by Bill Phillips, who owned EAS for a season.
Okay.
Well, he started EAS, and he owned Muscle Magazine, Muscle Media Magazine.
Oh, okay.
So probably more of a 90s thing going into the millennium. But it was a whole 12-week challenge. And these people, they show the before and afters, and they were just astounding.
Oh, really?
Going from a guy who looks like me in 12 weeks and they're ripped. And it's like, well, crap, if they can do it, I can do it. It took me 3 times. But
yeah.
I eventually got there where I could see my abs, and that was good enough.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's how bodybuilding was. Like I pretty much,
a lot of protein, a lot of farting.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Bodybuilding honestly was one of the dumbest things I've ever done. It really was. It was so stupid. And
Another low point.
That was my low point, was doing this stupid bodybuilding competition.
6 times a day eating kind of thing.
Well, and what's crazy, and this is mostly sarcasm, but it's also really not. I mostly run off of spite. Like
spite?
Spite. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So someone made me mad, and this person did bodybuilding. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a competition. I'm going to win. And I did.
Mm-hmm.
I did. Dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. I don't even remember I was mad at him. It doesn't even matter because that's how sad I was on this.
Where
diet.
was the competition held?
Kentucky, I think. Kentucky.
So someone said you can't do it.
No one told me I couldn't do it. Someone just made me mad, and they did it. And
how did they make you mad? What'd they do?
That's what I'm saying. The competition took every brain cell I had. I don't even remember how they made me mad. I really don't. I don't even know if I was actually mad at them or if I was just, I don't know. But I know that someone irritated me one time, and I was like, you know what? Because I don't really argue with people. I don't get mad. If I'm mad at someone or if I'm irritated with someone, it's a long-term goal of mine to make sure I make myself better. Right. I make myself better than them, which is probably not healthy. And I'm sure that there's some type of therapy lesson I'll get one day. But
so it's not a bad thing, but the attitude should probably be, I just want to make myself better.
Exactly.
Not be better than them.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. And the amount of times I've had some friend or family member be like, have you ever thought of therapy? And I'm like, yeah, I'll do that one day.
You mean like physical therapy?
Yeah, I do that. You need it.
So you wind up from going West Tennessee to UT Knoxville.
Yeah.
But I mean, was that kind of like, as you were growing up in West Tennessee, going to Memphis, maybe going to Nashville, was that kind of like akin, because I mean, you're what, an hour and a half away from each?
Yeah, I'm
roughly?
about 2 hours from Nashville.
Okay, and about how far from
Hour and a half from Memphis.
Hour and a half?
Mm-hmm.
So you were about like similar distances that we were from New York. Mm-hmm. For us to hop the train in Brewster and head down to the city would take us about an hour and 15 minutes. So, and driving down there probably take about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But that for us was like, hey, we're going to the city.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But you had cities to choose from.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. I was not allowed to go to Memphis.
No.
No. And it's not even that Memphis was just a bad place. It's just, and honestly, we really didn't even go to Nashville. Like I said, I grew up fairly, like we weren't that wealthy. We were lower middle class.
Right.
So my city that I went to growing up was Jackson. Before it got bad. Jackson's not just the safest right now.
Right.
But we went to Jackson all the time and go, actually, a typical weekend, like if we were going to go out in my hometown, we would go to the Walmart parking lot.
That's something.
That was our city.
Yeah.
People would have trucks out there. I didn't drink, but.
Like good old boy country music. That's the kind of stuff you hear about.
Oh, yeah. We'd go ride dirt roads. I mean, like I was living a Jason Aldean song.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hicktown.
I was a Hicktown.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Pretty big toes up on the dash.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Except for I was typically the DD. So.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, which was not fun.
You weren't really a partier?
Well, my parents were very strict, which as they have found out, strict parents create rebellious children whenever you get older. But at that time I was like, my mom worked at a bank and she knew everybody. Yeah. So I was like, she'll find out anything. I mean, like I could be 5 minutes late for curfew and she'd be like, let me smell your breath. I was like, okay. Oh, wow. Not drinking in high school. And then I got to undergrad and that changed.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But was that the big first exposure to like the world?
Oh yeah.
UT Knoxville.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember getting to UT Knoxville. First of all, my hometown has just a handful of stop signs. You can't get lost in my hometown. My senior year of undergrad at UT Knoxville, I still had to use my GPS to walk around.
Really?
Yes, I'm an idiot when it comes to directions. And I blame that on my hometown. Yeah. I don't know where anything is.
Yeah.
Yeah. If my phone dies, I don't know.
Danbury was like that growing up where we grew up and where the roads, hey, sometimes it's going north. Now we're going to go east and maybe we'll go south. There was really no rhyme or reason or a grid relatively that was set up, maybe a little bit in downtown, but not much. Getting to Vegas, on the other hand, it was like easy.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Because it was grid. It was set up like a grid. So, I mean, you just basically, my wife would get confused and she's like, okay, which way is north? I said, the stratosphere. That's the north end of the strip. The Luxor is the south end. So if you see the light coming up and then the stratosphere, you've got your bearings.
See, this blows my mind because if I call my dad and ask for directions, he acts like I'm Dora the Explorer. Like he's like, you go south and then east. And I'm like, what is south? Like in my head, I'm still thinking of elementary school where it's never eat soggy worms. Yeah. So this is west. But I'm like, I know that's not. It just depends on, I'm like, and I'm like, no, is it by that big building? And he's like, what? You're
a landmark visual person.
I am. I'm like, you got it. And of course in West Tennessee, he's like, it's beside the church. And I'm like, which church? There's 8.
It's 8 churches.
Yeah. And they're all right
in
here.
like one block. So you get to Knoxville. What kind of piqued your appetite or made you want to do what you're doing now? Did it start then?
No. So my sister is a nurse. And I decided I wanted to be a nurse because she's a nurse. I didn't know anything else. So I applied to the nursing program at UT Knoxville and I got in. And at orientation, they all went, it's your typical, however old I was, like 18, 19-year-old orientation circle. Yeah. Bunch of girls were all nursing. And they went around in a circle and they were like, okay, everyone. And this is very first day of orientation. I didn't know anyone. I mean, like school hadn't started. They put me in a dorm and they were like, go here this day. So we're all sitting in a circle and the girl in the middle, she says, I want everyone to go around and say, what made you want to be a nurse? And everyone was like, I want to help people and I want to make a difference and I want to make relationships. And I was like, hell no. I don't want to do that. I was like, I cannot be a nurse.
I want to work 90 hours a week and burn out at 30.
Exactly. In my head, I was like, what? Yeah. So it got to me and I couldn't even lie. I mean, typically I'm a pretty good liar. I'm not going to lie. I'm
You're a pretty good liar. You're not going to lie.
Yeah, okay. I'm not going to lie, but I'm a good liar. Yeah. But it got to me and I couldn't even think of a lie. And so I looked at her and I was like, I don't want to be a nurse. I was like, I don't want to be here.
I don't know why I'm here.
Yeah. She was like, I'm sorry, what? And I said, I don't want to give people baths.
Somebody gave me a brochure.
Yeah. Like my sister is a labor and delivery nurse. I was like, I don't want to touch a slimy baby.
What did you always want to do when you were a little girl, a teenager? What were your dreams?
I wanted to be a vet until I realized that vets have to also deal with people.
You know what the funny thing about vets? I found this out the other day.
What?
4th highest suicide rate.
Because they got to deal with people. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I shadowed at a vet clinic whenever I was in high school because I love animals, like big animal person. And like I would rescue every dog if I could. And I shadowed at this vet clinic, and this story is actually really sad. So you might want to cut this out, but
no, cut it out. What are you talking about?
But so I shadowed at this vet clinic, and I had a dog. Her name was Ellie Mae. She was my first dog that I bought, and I was
sad music behind you.
Yeah, there we go. Maybe
a
little
bit
sad
sadder. Music though.
Maybe
this
like a.
This is more like a Barry White.
Jason Aldean Hicktown. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. She, I was on my way, or I was about to go to work, and I was walking out the door, and someone hit her with a car. So I go and I get her. She's still alive. I take her to the vet clinic, and of course I'm there. I open. The vet's in there. I am not an emotional. I've never been a very emotional person. I don't like to cry. I'm just not very good at it. So I walked in and I told the vet. I said, someone's dog got hit. Like, can we save this dog? And the vet was like, nah. And I was like, she died. Yeah. So I was like, and the vet was like, go put her in the back. And I was like, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. So I go.
There's a dumpster in the back. Just, you know.
And so I go and I put her in a bag, and I go and I hide her under my car. So from that moment on, I was like, I will never be no, absolutely not. So that was my vet story.
So then from there, it was like, now, even though it's my childhood dreams are dashed.
I think I won't do it.
Right. Mm-mm. I got to figure something out.
Yeah. You know? So then, I mean, if we want to back up really, really far, when I was really young, I wanted to be the girl at restaurants that passed out straws. That's what I told my mom.
That's attainable.
Yeah.
You could still do that.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty sure I went from that to vet to, I was like, well, maybe I can like somehow make like a weird mistake and become famous and just work from home.
The reason why I ask is I think everybody has like, you know, I wanted to be a rock drummer. I am a rock drummer. It's, to some extent, but, professionally.
Oh, yeah.
Just had no idea how to go about it out of Connecticut.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a pilot one day,
and,
the stuff like that.
I think and this is going to sound so corny, but I think I've always just known that I was not going to be able to do the average job. Like I've always been able to know that. Like I've always been I'm a energizer bunny. I cannot sit still. I have to keep going. If I'm at home and it's a weekend, I don't have something to do, I'll make something to do.
Right.
So I think even as a kid, I was like, I've got to have a job that's going to keep me interested.
Right.
So went to after I dropped out of nursing school or nursing orientation, I was like, oh, I'll be a doctor. And then I took organic chemistry, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to be a doctor. So now what are we going to do?
So you're trying a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
College, I guess, was what, 08, 09?
Hold on.
And I have a reason why I'm asking that.
Let me think. I graduated undergrad in 2016.
Okay. So basically from that point on, it's interesting because a lot of the narrative about college, I think, was at the precipice of shifting, or was well underway of a shift. Like the public's perception of a college education and whether or not it's needed.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like that was after because when I graduated high school, that was the only option. Like people were like, you need to go to college. You need to go to college. Once I graduated, people were like, you don't need this. Like,
Yeah.
Which I'm very happy with what I do. I'm happy I went, but I also wish it would have been a little bit both-sided versus just go.
Did you take out debt to do it?
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, man, yeah. Not so much in undergrad, but physical therapy school.
Yeah.
It was. Oof.
So it's, with my kids, my daughter's going to college at UTC.
Oh, okay.
And she's loving it. It's the independence aspect of it. But I told them from a young age, if you don't know what you want to do when you graduate high school, college is not the answer.
Mm-mm.
Okay, get out there and work. And if it's something you don't enjoy doing, you'll find what you want to do fairly quickly, because you're going to be like, I can't do this. This does not feed my soul.
Well, it blows my mind too that when you graduate high school, how are you supposed to know what you want to do?
But that's the thing. In high school, you feel that pressure.
You do. And
because you're thinking that your peers know what they want to do.
Exactly.
And then you get to the college community and the ecosystem, and you think that everybody around you knows what their life is supposed to be and what they want to do. So it's like, well, what's wrong with me then?
Right. Why don't I know?
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And I wouldn't change anything about what I did, but I will say when I decided to be a physical therapist, I like anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good at anatomy. So I know I did what I was supposed to do. I'm good at my job. I enjoy it. But I did not do enough research into what I was going into because we're doctorates. So in my head, I was like, I'm gonna be a doctor. I'm gonna make tons of money. I'm gonna do what I enjoy doing every day, help people, and be the best at it. Holy airball.
Mm-hmm.
We don't make anything as a physical therapist. We have a doctorate level education. We are doctors. But we're not respected as doctors. And I don't mean that in I need someone to.
What was me?
Yeah. I don't mean it like that, but we're not. And there's the amount of debt compared to what we get paid is absolutely unattainable. Like unless you start your own thing, unless you get a side gig or start your own thing, or honestly, burnout rate with physical therapists is 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then they go get another job. Right. I mean, it's just not worth the pay.
See, but looking at your facility, because you're on Facebook, you can see and Amplify is your business. It's not a franchise or anything like that. It looks like a regular workout kind of.
Yeah.
place.
So Amplify. I worked with a in-network physical therapy clinic for 1 year after I graduated, and I hated it. Mm-hmm. There's a time and place for it, and I'm not talking bad about it. It was just not for me. Like I said, I'm very ADD, and I was like a substitute. So I would go, if there was a physical therapy out in a clinic, I would go take her spot for like a maternity leave, or if they were sick, I would go take her spot. That way, they didn't lose any patients for the week.
Yeah.
So that meant I would get to a clinic where I didn't know anybody, and I'm a sub. Yeah. So of course I'm going to get the worst patients. Like no one's going to be like, oh, I'll take that patient so she doesn't have to have it because she's just a sub. And I would treat 3 people at the same time that I'd never met.
Yeah.
And it was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful. I hated it. I had no autonomy. I was just basically, I would pretty much have a tech do everything. Yeah. Because I would have to I had to get the documentation done to get the units in. That's all. If you're getting in-network physical therapy, that's all they care about. It's all they can care about because that's how they get paid. So when I quit, I was actually going to do a medical sales rep job. I was just going to quit PT altogether. I was like, here we go. I got this doctorate level education, and now I'm just throwing it out the way because I want more money and I want more autonomy. And I started working in like a corner of a gym, just basically just doing a dry needle. So I was just basically dry needling people. Mm-hmm. And before my medical sales rep job started, it picked up. And so that's when I was like, there's got to be a bridge. Like there's got to be some type of way to take in-network physical therapy where you're double booked all the time versus.
And getting paid peanuts.
Yeah. And getting paid nothing. And there's got to be a bridge to that and just personal training.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Or just, a bridge between, you're the owner of the business, you set your prices.
Right.
Or is it a posture from the insurance companies, they tell you?
Oh, yeah. I've tried to get in network with one insurance company, and it was an absolute joke. They offered me $40 to the hour.
Wow.
And I was like, absolutely not. So no wonder they have to double book. I mean, those clinics have to survive too. They have employees to pay.
But how do you change that model then? Is it, you got the star physical therapies that are all around town. They're making it work somehow.
The double, triple book.
Really?
Yeah. And like I said, there's a time and a place for that. I've turned people down before who have come to me after a replacement, and they were going to come to my clinic because we do mobiles. So if someone wanted me to go to them, it's worth their money. Yeah. And I get that. But if someone comes to me with something super simple, that is a protocol that any physical therapist or any tech can do, I'm like, don't waste your money paying for me. Like wait until do your visits with this physical therapist or with this physical therapy company. Go through insurance, don't pay for it. And when you're ready for the next level, come to me.
It's funny, I worked for a company called Price's Collision here. I don't know if you remember them.
Mm-mm.
They did auto body repair.
Okay.
And his whole thing was he kind of turned his back on the insurance referrals and probably, doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on the outward messaging in his marketing that don't let your insurance company steer you to the collision repair center of their choice. Make sure it's got a lifetime warranty. This is what we offer. He had an earworm of a jingle that would play every time it was based on Mambo number 5.
Yeah.
He actually had a musicologist study it enough to make it different enough so he wouldn't get sued.
Oh.
But the jingle was literally, Prices, Collision Center. It was an earworm, so if you ever got into an accident, you'd probably be the top of mind.
Yeah.
Call Prices. And he pretty much, gave the bird to the insurance companies. He still took referrals from them, but his main channel of business was direct.
It took me a while because, of course, when you start a business, especially, I started mine young and I know that.
How long ago did you start?
I've had it for a little over 4 years.
Okay.
So I was a physical therapist for about 2 years before I started my own company.
Right.
And I've learned that's like the number one thing I would caution people of is not to rush that, because I had a lot of lessons I had to learn that I wouldn't have had to learn if I would have just took it a little slower.
I'll be honest with you, at that age, knowing roughly how old you are, perfect time.
Really?
Oh yeah. Get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is that I think what a lot of people don't understand is their 20s is for falling on your face and eating dirt.
It is my thing with the whole, I caution people on it in healthcare, because my thing is like from a moral standpoint, how am I going to charge someone a premium rate for someone with intermediate experience?
That's inside your own head.
Yeah, I know. But
Right.
but I got that experience.
Right.
I became a continuing education junkie. I got good at what I do.
Right.
And then I felt good with that. But you have to have that motivation to do that. You have to set yourself back and be like, okay, I'm going to do everything I can, say yes to anything I can right now, and I'm going to get good at what I want to get good at.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. Which, like I said, I'm happy it happened that way. You need experience, you know?
Oh, sure.
So that would be my only caution for people. But when I first started, you say yes until you can't say yes anymore. And now where I'm at right now, you almost, it's hard to sell out. People hear the word out of network and immediately think no.
Right.
But I really just have to tell people that's fine. I'm not for everyone. A lot of people aren't going to pay for me, but you're going to get what you pay for. So if you do want more, because I tell people insurance companies, they pay for you to do everyday activities. So if you have knee pain, an insurance company is going to be, okay, they can stand up from the toilet, they're good.
Yeah.
But maybe you golf. They don't care if you play golf. We care if you play golf. So if you do want something more personalized, that's when you search for out of network.
Does your garage door sound like this? If it does, it's screaming for help. Call Incredible Doors, 931-348-DOOR. We're making garage doors in Murray and Williamson counties work better and sound better. We just make them incredible again. Go to IncredibleDoors.com or call 931-348-DOOR. Follow us on Facebook for specials on maintenance visits, keypads, and other items. 931-348-DOOR. IncredibleDoors.com.
What if you were to take that same, again, getting back to the profitability of a business like this and trying to reinvent the wheel, so to speak, and be so not dependent on an insurance lead funnel and generation. What is it? Are you capitalizing on the people that come to you, even though you're in network, so to speak? Can you upsell them into the other areas? Hey, your insurance company may not pay for this, but we can accommodate you and make sure that you can swing that club or you can, pick up your grandbabies or whatever. But you're going to need these types of services. And a lot of that's personality, a lot of it's charisma, which you have, and just salesmanship, sales ability.
That's you don't learn anything about business or marketing in PT school.
No.
So I am happy that I was willing to learn and do have the personality for it. But I've had so many people ask me how to market. And here's a pet peeve of mine. When people tell me that, because I enjoy marketing, I enjoy making relationships, I enjoy meeting people. Unfortunately, I do enjoy doing it face to face, which is it's time consuming.
Yeah.
But you just don't get anywhere with a phone call, and emails sound sales pitchy, know?
Right.
I like to meet people. I like to know what they do. Pet peeve of mine is whenever people are not, willing to market and not even willing to meet. Like I have a lot of people who refer to me just because I've done great with their patients that they've already sent. And I appreciate that. But the other day I was talking to someone, and I'll meet anybody. Everyone knows someone, everyone can be of benefit. And I am here to also help other people. So I love it. But I was talking to someone the other day, and she told me that she doesn't really market just because she's gotten her business just from being good.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, it's word of mouth.
Yeah. Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
I'm
that
happy
still takes
you.
time.
It does. It takes time. It takes time. And I'm like, so you're just good where you're at? Like you're good with just getting the referrals that you got because you're good. You don't want to meet anybody?
But I mean, a lot of, especially in the musician community and stuff like that, what you do has a lot of potential because what comes to mind, and I always look at what people are doing on social media, and if it catches your attention, there's a chiropractor. I think he's a chiropractor. He might be a physical therapist as well, but he's a drummer as well. He talks about proper body mechanics, sitting at the kit, which way your legs should be and how your balance should be situated. And the thing about, playing the drums or any sort of instrument, it can be subjective in terms of how you just interpret the instrument. And I've always been like, well, hey, I like to have my legs my thighs parallel to the floor when I sit on the throne. Recently, I've gone just a tad up. So it's a little bit like maybe a 5 to 10 degree angle, a little bit just off kilter from parallel. What a difference.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And, they talk about the different types. I'm wondering if there's something from a personal branding standpoint, if you haven't been doing something like that, cool little things. Hey, here's something if you got, common things that people are dealing with, maybe some
golfer's elbow,
all those things. What can you do at home? You know what I mean?
We work with
because that builds your personal brand, shows that you're an expert in your field, and creates demand, believe it or not.
Yeah. We have social media, and I really do need to get better with social media because we work with tons of golfers. We work with tons of business owners as far as like sitting at a desk all day, travel, all that stuff. And then we work with a lot of equestrians. So equestrians have been kind of the more dominant one lately.
Yeah.
I used to ride, so I'll go out to arenas with people. We'll make saddle adjustments and that kind of stuff. I don't golf. I just know about the human, but anytime someone says they're a specialist in something, don't believe them. Everyone got trained on the same thing unless they went to a crazy institute that no one knows about.
Yeah, but can you look at somebody like looking at me here? You saw me start out like this, and then at some point I lean back like this, a lot of body language going on. And every now and then I catch myself, I don't want to hunch like this. So I'll use my core and engage my core and sit up straight. Are you noticing stuff like that about people?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's a key part of physical therapy for sure. And it's easy to tell someone that. It's easy to be like, hey, sit up, sit up. And it's easy to think on your, like I'm sitting here slouching. I'm a physical therapist. One thing that we are known for is accommodating our advice and our tactics and tips to the person's lifestyle.
Right.
So a lot of people come to us because, for example, golfers, you can tell them all day long, pick your chest up, push with your hamstring, push with your glutes. if they don't have that hip range of motion, I mean, you can tell them that all day long. It's just not going to be. So we are really good with working with people with how they want to be worked with, if that makes sense. So a standing desk, for example, like that would be, if you don't want to hunch, and if it's something that you're constantly having to think about while you're sitting there, sit down for an hour and then just stand up for a little bit. Yeah. That way you don't have to think about it.
I'm always thinking about different ways you can just make fun social media, TikTok videos.
Oh yeah. We have a social media, and honestly, I love the social media aspect of it. It's fun. It's different. But we don't get a lot of people off social media because you're
probably not pushing it enough.
I know, but we also have a weird clientele. Like our clientele is LinkedIn. We get some people off LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I don't really get anything off TikTok.
What are you doing on TikTok though?
We post the same thing, which like you said, I probably need to switch that up. I need to figure some stuff out. But
I'm trying to figure out, how do we solve the problem of getting you paid better?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And anytime, I just played in a band, right? Their social media game is completely, laughingly non-existent.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, pretty much same.
And it's like, you got a tremendous amount of content to put out there to create a demand and build up a value in the perception of your recipient. That's a lot of what marketing is. Well, how are you being perceived? So you constantly showing up with all these fun, hey, here's a real quick tip. If you've got a little bit of a pain in your wrist, maybe you're a drummer and you got some carpal tunnel maybe going on, or some tingliness, try doing this and that, do this every day. And let me tell me in the comments how it works out for you. And then in the comments, you're going to have other ideas that come up to foster another video. You know what I mean?
True.
Guitar players, because especially being in a music city, you go out and see bands, which I would imagine maybe you do. You got guitar players that are metal guys that play down to their knees. And then you got, kind of mid-range guys, and you got your jazz guys that play like this.
I mean, even the strap on your neck.
Right.
We worked, the amount of artists we worked with neck pain because of that. I feel like I could, at this point, just.
But those are all things that, hey, you keep showing up with like little tips. Hey, here's some at-home physical therapy tip. That's going to build you up.
Ironically, the thing that has worked the most on TikTok and Instagram, and this is not making money or anything, this is just what has got us the most followers and what has got us the most engagement, was making fun of healthcare.
Yeah.
We'd make videos of just, because healthcare right now is so, it can be very obnoxious right now.
It's a commodity.
Oh, it's so stupid right now. I mean, cold plunge, sauna, grounding.
I do grounding.
You do grounding?
I do.
You just go stand outside barefoot?
No. I have a grounding blanket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I sleep with it all
You
night.
lay it? Oh, okay.
I do.
I thought grounding was like where you just go step outside barefoot.
You can. It works, dude.
Does it?
Yeah.
I'm a big research gal. I'm pretty skeptical of things.
Do that.
And I had the amount of people I'd have ask me about cold plunges. Should I get in cold plunge? Should I do a cold plunge? I've heard it makes you live longer. And I'm like, dude, if you want to do a cold plunge, go for it. But if it means you're going to live 7 minutes longer than me, I was warm all those days. I'm good with it. You let me know one day how it was to live that much longer when you were cold every day for however long it is.
Everybody has a solution to something on social media.
Everyone has a solution. Right now it's castor oil.
What?
Oh my gosh.
That's cyclical.
The amount of people that are like, if you want better digestion, just put castor oil up your belly button.
Really?
Yeah. It's
in your belly button?
In your belly button.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then have you seen where people are sleeping with tape on their mouth?
No.
Yeah. People are taping their mouth shut to sleep.
Why?
I don't know.
Just because?
I guess. Do you want to know? I'd lose my mind. I would lose my mind if I couldn't go to sleep. You'd have to give me drugs.
Well, I mean, I do the CPAP thing, but that's not what, I keep my mouth closed and it's forcing air in my nose.
I can't, like when I go to bed, like I can't have anything. Yeah. Like if my shirt touches my neck, I have a panic attack.
See, I can't I'm sure I could readapt to sleeping without a CPAP, but it stops my snoring. And typically if I ever sleep without it, I get a sore throat because.
Yeah. Well, and CPAP is completely different, but I don't know. I don't know why people are taping their mouth shut, but it's another question we've been getting a lot. And I'm like,
that's the thing is like, what kind of engaging content could you be creating? That's funny.
Yeah.
Making fun of healthcare.
Absolutely. And it's easy right now.
Yeah.
I mean, every day we get another question of, should I do this? Should I do this? I'm
Dumb things that our customers ask.
Yeah. Yeah. We've done interesting. You've watched The Office, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We did a series one time where we would like kind of have a stupid situation that had gone on in the clinic, and we make fun of ourselves just as much as our clients.
Mm-hmm.
So we can, that way we're not, bad. But, we did a series like where we would reenact something that happened with a client, and then we'd kind of like look at the camera,
look to camera.
That has been the amount of people who have been like, can you do that again?
Mm-hmm. And
we're like, yeah, come up with more stupid stuff.
How many people you got working for you?
So I've got a clinic director, and he's full-time. I tell people he's the smart one. He's a genius. One of the best physical therapists I've ever seen in my life. And I don't like to give compliments. So that's a big one. And then we take students sometimes. It's me and him full-time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What we're trying to do right now is I'm pretty much just doing mobiles now, and he's running the clinic. So hopefully we're going to have to make another part-time hire soon for the clinic.
Yeah.
But not right now. Still work. I mean, we just expanded into Brentwood. We used to be in Franklin. So
how's that working out?
It was hard.
Yeah.
It was really hard. We grew out of Franklin. And I didn't have any more room. I didn't have enough space. And then we had a lot of people who wanted privacy.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that in Franklin because we sublease from a gym. And then we go to Brentwood, and it's a beautiful facility. It's like 2,600 square foot. There's private rooms. I'm subleasing them out right now to massage therapists and all this stuff. And Brentwood's just a different crowd. It's just a little difficult to market, and everyone that I've marketed to wants me to do mobile. So that's why I'm like, okay.
Come to my house, I'll pay the bill.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's got to be some margin there.
Oh yeah. No, I prefer mobile, to be honest. I love my mobile clients. I love I'm able to get stuff done.
You take the things inside the house, and I guess it's not something you can do in the back of a van.
I have a mobile cart that I bring her. Actually, it just got stolen. So
fun.
Someone broke into my car.
Nice.
I was like, I wonder what they're going to do with that biohazard box. So, that'd be nice.
But that's, whenever I hear somebody talk about like what you addressed earlier, how the juice isn't sometimes worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
It's all, how do we fix that? How do we, it's a commodity. And one of the things that I've kind of been fairly good at is decommoditizing commodities. And it always comes down to personality.
Yeah.
Who's the person administrating it? Because that is the separator. Realtors have the same problem. Insurance salespeople, mortgage salespeople, they're all commodities. Mm-hmm. It depends on who you're dealing with.
You know what's hard? Because I'm willing. I mean, like I'll attempt anything. I'll try as far as like meeting people, getting programmed. Like right now we're trying to do, we are doing like a tailored corporate wellness plan. So like we're going into companies where we're creating a program for them, and then providing, this many visits, this many executive consults and all this stuff. It's working out really good. The hard part is you got to know someone to meet the people you got to talk to.
Right.
And that's the difficult part with social media and marketing and stuff. It's hard to, like, it's one of those things.
Getting to the decision maker?
Well, no, it's where do I spend my time? Like, do I spend my time making face-to-face connections with people that can get to know me and vouch for me and let people, or do I go online where I'm spending less time, but is it going to be worth the time I do spend?
Well, I think any time that you have where it's, quote, easy, your response rate's going to be less.
Yeah.
Because you could sit in front of a computer and just completely reach out to people. I did it the other day to the owner, CEO, president of Cool Springs Wine and Spirits.
Oh, yeah.
On behalf of one of the podcasts I produce. I was in there the other day, and I'm like, my gosh, they had their beer guy come up to me, and I was looking, they have a particular beer there it's just amazing. So I got a growler, and he was telling me some new tidbit of information about the brewery, which is based out of Knoxville, called Zool. If you're not familiar with them.
Nope.
But he's like, oh yeah, they became the official brewery for the local baseball team. I said, oh really? I said, dude, I've met you a couple of times. I'd love to get you on as a regular on the podcast. Is that something that you're interested in doing? He's like, well, it really depends on the person, the people here, if they'll let me and stuff. I said, okay, who do I got to talk to? And, the guy wasn't there, but I'm unabashed about saying, introduce me.
Oh yeah, no, me too. I love meeting people. I'll meet anyone and I'm not shy. And it's truly though, a lesson I've had to learn is unless you ask or unless you put the word out there, the answer is no.
Right. I tell my kids that all the time, much to our detriment.
Yeah. Like you have to put yourself out there. No one's going to hand it to you, no matter who you know. And I've got I have clients who have helped me tremendously with my business, but even them, unless I ask, the answer is no.
Right.
Like that, like they got to know I need a connection.
Yeah. Yeah. You do that actively? Like, hey,
oh yeah,
I'm really looking for a connection with this person. Every client, especially in Brentwood.
Oh yeah.
They might know him.
Everyone knows someone, especially that's one reason that got
especially if they like you.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's where the face-to-face connections come from.
But face-to-face can happen on Instagram and TikTok too, because they're seeing your face. They're going to, there's a lot of, there's a lot of likable people, creative, likable people that, yeah, man, I'll help you out. I like you. I'll stick my neck out and make a referral for you. And I feel like you'll do right by them and make me look good.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the key to it, man.
Yeah, it is. And it's, and I know it is in my mind because it works both ways. You see some people on social media and you're like, click follow, like, watch their content every time it pops up, learn something new. And then you see someone that you're almost like, I want to follow them to make sure I never act like that.
Right. Yeah. What not to do.
Yeah. What not to act like.
That's my problem. See, is that I know I come off as the somewhat overweight, older guy. I mean, my beard, I was just looking at pictures from like 5 years ago and my beard was a lot darker, and it's
I thought you dyed it like that.
Yeah. It's, I want to look aged.
Yeah, I get that.
I got the salt and pepper and it works, whatever. And it's, I know a lot of it, there are guys in the podcast space that are better looking and they might get a little bit more of engagement, but what they're saying is utter bullshit.
Oh yeah. Oh,
and I'm like, I know I'm the expert when it comes to this, but you gotta,
oh my gosh,
you gotta freaking buy into the fact that I am the expert. I understand I'm not exactly Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and there are certain podcasts that I watch and not even like local, like I'm just talking any, like I said, health and wellness right now is just insanely uncomfortable for everybody. Yeah. Like you get on one and it's, why do they all look the same? all health and wellness or medical podcast producers look the same.
Are they wearing scrubs or are they wearing the
Suits.
black t-shirt? Suits
for some reason. I just know it from the bottom of my heart. I know they've only got a suit on from here.
Right.
And then down low, they've got shorts on.
Right.
And I'm like, and they've got like acting like they're talking to a crowd. It's like, there's no one in there, is there?
No.
You're just doing that. There's like mirrors.
Yeah, there's a guy that comes to mind that's a social media / podcast quote expert, constantly talking about he's stealing and repackaging other people's ideas that I know I've heard them say. And he does the same thing. He'll have a camera that with a couple of people in the audience.
Oh yeah.
And like, I'm speaking publicly. And I'm let me tell you about how to do this, and I'm going to come off as a,
let me see the crowd.
Right. And
turn that camera around.
You never see the crowd.
No. I just know, and that's another thing with influencers and which respect to them because they work hard for what they got, but I just cannot imagine. Like, have you ever seen the day in the life videos? Like here's a day in my life, and it's like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I can't imagine because when I'm hungry, I'm eating. Yeah. But I eat first. Phone does not eat first. Phone does not. I don't take a picture first. I can't imagine going to set my camera up, making sure the angle is good, showing my food, setting it down, going and stopping it, eating. Like you know what I mean? There's just so much. It's so.
Well, it's an element of vanity.
Yeah.
It's like the fitness influencers that I haven't been in a gym. Obviously, you probably can tell this in many, many years. But I don't think I'd be able to go back because it's like I would just get annoyed with the amount of freaking tripods.
Oh, 100%.
And it's like these
hard.
people are just unashamed. Well, I'm checking my form. No, you're not. You're putting it on social media. There's a guy that I follow. He's a nice guy, but he's constantly, he lost a lot of weight and everything's like, and the camera's like a good 10 feet away.
Oh,
dude, you're in the way of other people at that point.
I also personally, I have one good angle. Yeah. One. So if I'm videotaping myself, just let's say
what angle is that?
It's not down here. I can promise you that, which is where the tripod is.
Right.
We're going to go up, up, maybe darken it and turn it all the way around. Right. I'm not photogenic. I hate pictures.
Oh, whatever. I'm looking at you right now. You look great.
No. I hate pictures. Like
I'll take a picture of you right now.
Oh, no. See, this is where I'm going to, with wedding planning and stuff, God, if I could just be like, can we just not have a photographer around? Cause I know everyone's going to be like dancing and having fun. And if I see her, I'm just going to have to like.
Do you feel like you have a fake forced smile?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, do it. Let's see it.
I can't.
Let's do it.
I can't anymore.
Smile for the camera. Say cheese.
I can't anymore. See, this is, I don't know how.
See, reason why I ask is because I understand it. Whenever somebody would ask me to take a picture, I'd always go,
oh yeah. And it's like, why did her?
And I always look fake.
Same.
What I've been doing is going, okay, take a picture. And I try and freeze the face. But then I notice my eyes are squinting now.
Oh,
and I'm like,
because it's too much. Yeah. And now everyone's like, oh, what did he smoke?
Exactly. Yeah. Or I look like my mother. And I'm like, oh gosh.
No. And it's all, I mean, I don't even know how, the camera thing. I'm just thinking like, I wonder how many reps did they go through on this exercise to make sure they have the right angle? Oh. Cause like, I go through, I'm like 4 sets of 10 and I'm like, there ain't no way in hell I'm going back to that. Right. I'm done.
I don't know. I would imagine that people that go to the gym and run into these insufferable people that have tripods that have to be set up, 10 to 15 feet away.
Oh yeah.
So they get the entire shot and all. It's like, dude, you're in the way.
Right.
It's inconsiderate.
Also.
And then you get the people that freaking shame the other people, like fitness and these women.
Oh yeah.
Check out the creeper behind. The dude's just freaking dude.
Have you ever? Okay,
Joey
first of all, this cracks me up because I stare at everybody. Yeah. I stare at everyone in the gym. There are mirrors, not to look at myself, but to look at other people.
Right.
So look at me. I don't care. It's fine. I've never once thought like, oh, he's creepy. He's staring at me. But I love the videos where people call out women or calling other people out. I'm like, good job.
Yep.
Good job.
Well, Joey Swole.
That one.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
Yeah. He's, you can do better.
Right.
Do better.
Yeah. But I'm like, I mean, no one's looking at you. And also, by the way, your shorts are halfway up your ass.
Right.
You want people to look.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. You have yellow pants that you probably bought at Justice.
Yeah.
As like a 12-year-old girl. Like you're in your 30s. My gym attire includes a 2XL t-shirt.
Right.
I will not be sucking in at the gym. I will not be focusing on the rolls.
For me at my age, I want to find something like Ben. We all know Ben, Mr. Benjamin Rydberg. He helps us here with, he's an associate, shall I say, team member here at it'syourshow.co. He also coaches boxing at Title Boxing in Nolensville. And he's really good at it. And my brother and I went to one of his classes about 2 weeks ago. I really enjoyed it. But it's I'd really need a place down here.
I'm not a big group class person. I can do group classes for like a month. And then I'm like, I think it's because I work with people all day long. Yeah. So the one time I get to work out, I'm like, no one around me.
My point is, I guess, finding that thing that it's not a workout when you're really enjoying it. Like right now, I've been doing bike rides every morning, trying to get about 8 miles in. Just some cardiovascular stuff. I have a bench at home with some adjustable weights and just not feeling it. It's not fun.
I do enjoy lifting. I enjoy the lifting aspect of it. I hate cardio with every bone in my body.
No.
I hate cardio. But
a lot of it for me is diet.
Yeah, it's always diet.
It's the
People think gym is the hard part. Gym is not the hard part.
Yeah.
Going to the gym is,
it's a damn IPAs.
It's wine.
Yeah, wine for me too.
I love a good glass of wine.
I've been getting into whiskey lately too. It's like, holy crap.
Okay, here's my thing. I like bourbon.
Right.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's brown.
Yeah.
But I can't afford the bourbon though.
Right.
Yeah. I've been spoiled by some clients. So and tequila.
Too.
Tequila. I love tequila. I cannot afford the tequila I like.
Christopher McClintock. I had him on the podcast about, 3-4 months ago.
Yeah.
Dude brought in a bottle of whiskey because he knew that, I was kind of, I guess, tasting it and enjoying it. I was never a big hard liquor guy growing up, but it's like, I could see the appeal. Yeah. It's not like I'm going overboard with it.
Yeah.
It's a nice just to enjoy the drink.
Right.
He brought in a bottle, and one of my other clients came in. His name is Nick Woodard, the 615 podcast. Check his out. He eyeballed the bottle that was up on my shelf over here, and he goes, "What is that?" So it's a gift one of my guests and, comrades and B&I brought when he was on the podcast as a thank you. And it had a wax seal on the top of the bottle. And he's like, "You have any idea what that is?" I said, "None." No idea. It's a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
He looked it up and he showed me the price. I'm like, holy crap.
Wow.
Thanks, Chris.
Shout out to Chris. Yeah, where's my whiskey? Come on. No, I love tequila. Have you seen that really pretty bottle of tequila? It's long and slender and it's white, blue, and I'm pretty sure there might be a bell on the top.
Maybe.
Okay. Yeah. I like that one. I've actually never had it. I just like the bottle, but I can't afford it.
For those of you listening, I want to make sure that if anybody knows the president and CEO of Cool Springs Wine and Spirits, we'd really like to talk to him because we think we'd be able to partner with him. I think there's a tremendous opportunity.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff in there. Not just because of that. I walk into a place, I'm like, oh, we could do this. We could do this. We could, actually do some live episodes here and all that stuff.
Well, can you say his name?
It's gosh.
It's not oh man, now I'm blanking. No, that's a different liquor store.
No, it's what's his name? Brett Moore.
Brett Moore. No.
Yeah.
There's a liquor store in Cool Springs, I think, where they have like a men's
a cigar lounge kind of thing?
Yeah, kind of.
Cool Springs Wine and Spirits is, you walk into that place, and here I am talking about it. Maybe I need to clip this out and to send it to them. You walk into that place, it is a smorgasbord.
Really?
Everybody's helpful. They've got a little area that you can have some charcuterie, cheeses, local dairy type stuff. So they've done a really good job making inroads with local places. A big old beer section that's got a ton of selection. There's a guy there that just knows his stuff when it comes to beers.
Really?
Just a really impressive approach to everything. And I'm sure they don't need a podcast partnership.
It'd be cool though.
It would be cool. Yeah.
It'd be really cool.
Well, first of its kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, give us the beers to review. We'll review them and then
that'd be a fun episode.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We've done breweries and stuff like that, but it's with breweries, you're kind of biased. How honest can you be?
Yeah. Especially if one in particular is like, review these.
Yeah.
From our, yeah.
Well, we should have you on the podcast at some point as a guest taster.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll get an Uber.
You'll get an Uber?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can only do 3 shows in batches.
Have you ever been wine tasting?
Yes.
That,
what a hell of a sales process.
Yeah. And
lube them up.
I know. It's like, and I never get the pours like this. It's always like, here's this wine pour. And I'm like, okay, I'll chug it.
Where did you do it?
So I've done it in North Georgia. Mm-hmm. And then the best time I did it was in Greece.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that was actually, that was very informative. Like that was pretty interesting. I'll never drink wine like what you're supposed to drink. Yeah. Like, but it was interesting.
Why wouldn't you drink wine?
So when you drink wine, in Greece, you naturally aerate it. Yeah. So, you spin it Like you have, you always see the fancy people spin the wine. So you spin the wine, that's part of the aerating process. And then you take a drink and you look down and you have to slurp it for like 30 seconds. And then you take a drink. And it changes the taste of food according to what wine you're drinking.
You have to slurp it in your mouth and then spit it back out?
Nope. Like that's how you aerate it. Like you're doing this and you're like
you're sipping a hot cup of coffee.
Yeah. Okay. And then you drink it.
Really?
And it honestly changes the taste of food. It was actually like almost unreal. And I wasn't drunk.
Courtney and I had our first proper wine tasting back in October in Paso Robles.
Oh. And
it was a family winery. You went to the place, we made an appointment. It was part of this event that we were doing for a podcast I produce. And they, were red wine people. So they explained really well what the years mean. And, hey, this year was a drier year and this is why it tastes like this. And 2017 was a good year and 2018. So they went through all of that and it's like, oh, okay, that's why that's important, especially to the region and the weather that they had. And that's why, that was a good year, and it's like those who are learned about wine, I guess, really keep up on that stuff. But they would have these wines laid out. And I would say by the fourth or fifth sampling, now take this wine, now go back to the first wine, the 2017, and see how the taste, and after a while, after 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
You're sitting there going, lady, they're all starting to run together.
Yeah, like this is.
I can't discern
you
one
got
from
any more
another.
of those almonds?
Right. And it's like, and I started, and naturally inquisitive that I am, I started asking questions.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so this is your sales process? She goes, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I said, so what's the average sale you get? She's like, well, one time I actually had a $35,000 sale. I said, whoa,
holy
good
moly.
for you. I said, well, what's the average? She's like, people spend about, a couple $100. Well, that's not bad.
Not bad.
They got us for about that.
You said 35?
$35,000 sale.
Holy moly.
It's a lot of wine.
It's a lot of wine.
Yeah, that was like $100 bottles of wine.
Holy moly.
They were good.
Were they?
Oh, yeah.
Well, and that's what's nice about like in Greece. Like you never woke up feeling bad the next day because it's just so unprocessed. And
what's the thing is that Europe is so different with their diets and, the food supply.
It's unreal. Like I ate so much on this trip.
You probably lost weight.
Yeah, did. And then I came back to America, had a protein bar, and I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because our food supply is crap.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about like the whole RFK thing and, what's going on? Do you think there's going to be any major changes to, I would love to see like a European model of food in our country.
Yeah.
Right. Not exactly how they do things.
Yeah.
Because to open a business there and do your thing is next to impossible.
Yeah. I would love it. I mean, like I'm kind of like you, like I would love to see that. I think that there were personally think that there was, because I have 2 nieces. So they're, my world.
Yeah.
And so the whole red dye ban thing that happened, like that was a big step. I also think that I don't know. I think that too many businesses run on. I mean, America's just different, I don't think any big changes are going to actually happen with that. What I would like to see happen is pharmaceutical companies not be able to advertise.
Well, I mean, that is the circle of life in that world.
Yeah.
Poison them, put a Band-Aid on it.
I would love
round and round we go.
I mean, like it's insane to be watching TV and then all these people are like dancing around a fire and it's like, here, if you have, this disease, take this medicine. The side effects are seizure, death.
Constipation.
You could lose a member of your family. You could, your dog might run away.
Your second cousin twice removed.
Like you might have, you might lose your home, but we're not liable.
Right.
So
yeah,
I'm
this
like,
is our disclaimer.
Yeah.
I've read many of those in my voiceover career.
It's nuts. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
If you or a loved one have suffered from mesothelioma, you may be entitled to compensation.
You know what and this is, I have zero opinion. The amount of times I get asked this, I have zero opinion on Ozempic, Trizepatide. I don't care. I don't care. Take it if you want it. Don't take it if you don't want it. I don't care. Only reason why I kind of want to take it is for the future claims. Because I'm like, I could get some money off that in a few years.
I'm blind in one eye.
Yeah, when they're like, if you or someone you love have been impacted by Ozempic, I'm like, me.
Those things, they're class action lawsuits, and the only people who get rich on them are the lawyers.
Well,
yeah,
that's worth a shot.
It's worth a shot, but at the same time, double down on you, triple down on you. I think you have tremendous potential to break the mold, so to speak. You know, and that's what I love having these conversations around is, okay, don't sell yourself on the limiting belief that this is just, you know, PT only pays so much.
Yeah.
No, let's figure out let's figure out another way. I mean, there's so many people, you know, electricians, the trades are making roaring comebacks, and they're showing how there's females out there that are electricians, and, you know, they set up tripods behind them. They do full panel rebuilds and stuff like that. And they make these beautiful artistic works of art out of a panel, an electrical panel. And it's really fun and it's satisfying to watch. And they're creating these personal brands in the trades. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So in that sense, it's a game changer.
I wish I was more comfortable with talking in front, with taking my phone and talking in front of a camera. I'm not.
Just take some reps. That's all.
I don't know what it is. I can't.
Just be you.
I got a lot of personalities.
You do.
I got to figure out which.
Yeah.
Which one to put on.
A little funny thought or, you know, tidbit comes in, just do a quick video and don't have to worry about, you know, the angle and the lighting and all that crap.
Right. And it'd be so easy, but I'll have a moment where I'm like, oh, I could, you know, film this, make some content, and I'll film it. And then I'm like,
Okay. So, but with that being said, I'm going to open up the old Instagram. What is your handle? I don't think I follow you.
It's Amplify _HP. I'm going to make sure I said that right. Amplify. Amplify _HP.
Okay.
We post a lot.
So you're doing a lot of these things as it is.
Mm-hmm. I am. It's just, we don't really have following.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we don't have following.
Maybe we need to fix that.
Yeah. I have I don't have a huge following, but I personally have more of a following, so I'll always repost it.
Well, what's yours then?
Alex L. Phil with 2 L's, 5. ALEXLPHILL 5.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out. Well, I have a follow request put into you.
Perfect.
You got your phone number on there. Oh my gosh.
Hey, business is business.
Well, I like it.
Yeah.
Following you now, Bell and Bottle. That popped up too.
Holy moly, you got a lot of followers.
Well, yeah.
Sheesh.
I try.
That's cool.
But
and that happened organically?
No. I admit it. I freely admit it. Unlike some of the people out there that say, "Look how many followers I have, and if you do what I do and buy my course," it's like, you know full well that they bought their damn followers. I made that mistake.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I've had one video that went viral, just one, and truly the only reason it went viral is because I made a typo. And I was like, all right, fair. The grammar police came out. Was working overtime that day.
I think ultimately, funner videos, more funner videos and stuff like that. I'll take a look at your stuff and even offline, maybe even talk about the social media supercharge thing. If that's an option for you, maybe we can help you out.
Yeah.
And come alongside and,
It'd be a lot easier than always face-to-face. Like I said, I love face-to-face. It's just time consuming.
Well, how do people find and follow you other than what we just talked about? Is there a central
website? We are so word of mouth. Yeah. So I know tons of out-of-network healthcare providers in the area, Nashville, Brentwood, College Grove, Franklin, anywhere like that. If they are out of network, I've pretty much met them. So we get a lot of referrals from people like that, personal trainers, anyone in the health and wellness field, and then word of mouth. I got a lot of my clients. I'm always asking for, if you know of anyone, and then our clients we do a lot of long-term clients. So most of my clients I've been with for years and years and years. It's just maintenance recovery. So they throw my name out like candy, which is very helpful.
Good. Well, how do new people find you?
That's what I'm I don't know. That's what I'm working on.
What's your website, and all that stuff?
I got a website.
Yeah. What is it?
Okay.
That's what
anyways, everyone guess my website.
Of course, we'll put it in the description.
Yeah.
But,
it's www.amplifyhp.com.
It's simple enough.
Simple enough. Amplify HP, obviously health and performance.
And as usual, if you guys are listening and you found a lot of value in this podcast, in this episode, share it with your friends, rate, review, depending on the platform you're on. Just kind of hit, 5 stars. If you can't give us 5 stars, hit me up. Let me know how we can make it so you can give us 5 stars. Or just review us anyway. 5-star for a shady review. Let's just, if you want to complain and throw some shade at us, it costs a 5-star review. You could say whatever you want in the comment. We'll allow it. You can always find and follow us at mmtbp.com. That's mostly Middle Tennessee Business Podcast.com as well. Truncated, mmtbp.com. Link is there if you want to be a part of the podcast. You can fill out the form. It shoots right to my email, and we review all of them, and we'll figure out if it's a match. But in this case, Alex, delightful conversation. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.